Today I am making a take your breath away lemon pound cake, and my friend Abby is going to help me make it, so you'll see her hands in the camera too. I've already got everything out and we just need to start getting things together. So we flour and lard our pans ready. We're not going to use a bundt pan because we're going to make several of these pound cakes. Okay, so we have all of our aluminum pans ready to go, floured and greased, and now we're ready to start actually making the cake. So the recipe calls for shortening, but I'm using lard. So my next step is actually going to be to beat some air into the lard because shortening already has air whipped into it and lard does not. So that's what we're doing right now. Okay, so we've whipped some air into our lard, and now we're ready to add our butter. And we were talking about the fact that a lot of people think it's your baking powder and your baking soda that make a cake rise, but really what happens is that baking soda or baking powder works with the air you've already whipped into your lard and your butter, and that's what makes your cake rise. Okay, this recipe calls for the lemon zest of 4 lemons. So we've taken some fresh lemons and we've washed them, and now we're just zesting them up before we go on with the rest of our recipe. Okay, here we go, the zest from 4 lemons and our fresh lemon juice. So we're adding 3 cups of sugar. Instead of adding cane sugar, I added coconut sugar because it's a lower glycemic index. And then we're going to mix this, scrape the bowl, and mix it again. Okay, so it looks like we have the sugar and the butter and the lard all creamed together pretty well. So our next step is to add our lemon flavorings, which is going to be the zest and the lemon juice and the lemon extract. Okay, so here's our lemon zest that we worked so hard to make.
Tiring.
Yes. And here's the juice from the lemons that we had that's fresh juice.
Sour.
And then we need to add our lemon extract. Okay, so here's our 2 tablespoons of organic lemon extract.
Oops.
And we add a little bit more, but hey, it's lemon pound cake, so it's going to be real lemony. So it calls for canola oil, and instead of canola oil, I've melted a little bit of, just one of them. I've melted a little bit of coconut oil, and so we added coconut oil instead, and coconut oil has a much higher nutritional value. In fact, I'm just going to go into my tirade about canola oil. If you find a canola, please let me know. I've never heard of a canola. Okay, so it calls for 2 egg yolks and 5 eggs. Lots of eggs in this one. And we have some nice fresh eggs so that we've washed, and Abby's just putting it in here for me.
Please don't get any eggshells.
There we go. It's tricky learning how to do it without getting eggshell in it. So when you're trying to get a really accurate measurement of flour, the best way to do it is to actually spoon it into your measuring cup, which is what Abby is doing right now. And nope, that's not full yet. So we're going to spoon it in until it's completely level, and then that's going to be an accurate. So every time, if you made the cake this very same way, every single time, in theory, it should be exactly the same. Whoop, you're kind of, just scrape off your, take it over here and just scrape off the excess. There you go. Now put it in. So when it comes to my flour and my powder ingredients, I like to put all of the flour and the salt and the baking soda all together in a bowl and then whisk it together so I can make sure that everything is evenly distributed in the powder. So before I mix the eggs in, which we haven't done yet, I'm going to turn this on very low, and then we're going to beat the eggs, and just not beat it too hard. If you beat your eggs too hard in cake recipes, it'll put a shine on top of your cake. Alright, the recipe called for me to just whip some heavy cream into soft peaks, and it took me maybe 2 minutes using a cold copper bowl and this whisk. And this whisk is awesome because it really whips a lot of air right into my cream. And so my cream's already whipped and ready to go. Okay, we're adding the flour. We're just adding about 1/3 of the flour at a time, and then we're going to mix it and scrape down the sides. And then once we get the flour completely mixed in, then we'll take our heavy cream that we've whipped and put it in. Okay, we've folded in our heavy cream, and now we're ready to put them in our cake pans. And we went ahead and we put the glaze and the frosting on there. I made both with the coconut sugar. And there you have it, a take your breath away lemon pound cake. And we went ahead and made extras so that we could take them home.